the easiest way to make this stuff happen is to stay organized and rewrite everything in every line, just like we did before with order of operations, but now that we have fractions, things get really messy. So give yourself like space off to the side to do any small stuff so that your problem always reflects from one line to the next, one line to the next. It's always equivalent. All right, so let's just start in with some examples. So then, Damien, what might you do first in this situation? So we're definitely going to deal with the exponent. Anything before that we should take care of? Yeah, inside the parentheses. If these ever get confusing to you because the fractions, write yourself a problem off to the side that doesn't have fractions but has the same thing going on, like a 2 squared minus a 2 times a 1 minus a 3. Right, so all I did was take all the numerators, and that's super easy. Like, you know for this one to do inside here first, so it's the same idea. You need to do inside there first. And show all of this work as you go. So if you're doing inside the parentheses, then I know that I need to find what?
Common denominator.
Yeah, I need to get these to be the same. Now, if you just don't know it, if you don't look at that and say, oh, it's, then off to the side, do all your LCD work to find that out. So you're going to do a third, and then do this work right here. This is the organization part I was talking about. So times, I'm going to let you guys do this part because we just spent Thursday doing it. Figure out what to multiply those by. So Jessica, what do you want to multiply 1/3 by? 8. Yep, 8 over 8. And then Sailor, what do you want to multiply 3/8 by?
3 over 3.
Right. So the LCD is 24, etc. Again, look at your paper. Did you only show this? Like, make sure you rewrote everything else, and that, yeah, just from one line to the next. And then from here, simplify that down, so we have 2/3 squared minus 2 parentheses 8 over 24 minus 9 over 24. Again, take your time. Don't risk making a small mistake. So then again, subtract those and then assess where you are at. No. Grayson, thoughts on next move?
2 times negative 1 over 24.
So let's imagine where, what's this negative 2? If you're here, what would you do next?
Multiplication.
I mean, you could argue either way. Technically, we want to evaluate any exponents first, right? Like, if we follow the order. Would it matter in this case? No. I'm just going to follow that order, and then the next step will do that. So if I want to evaluate 2/3 squared, I can't tell you how many people actually put 4/6. So on my last, I just gave a test on this, and a lot of people called this 4/6, so they lost that whole point. But if they had written out in this step, some people like wrote out 2/3 squared like this first, and then they called it 4/6, and I only took off a half a point because I was like, well, they know what squared means, and now I can see where their mistake was. Whereas if they just wrote it right away, I couldn't see it. So I would just recommend writing that out. And now you have multiplication here and multiplication here. If you run out of room, I don't think you will on the test because there's a ton of space. Just do an arrow or something like this. So nothing is going to cancel here, so I'm just going to call that 4/9. And then for the sake of making my life easier, do we agree this is going to become addition? Do you guys see that? So I'm going to stop writing minus and minus and call it plus. And then 2/24, when I multiply those, I'm going to write 2 times 1 if you want, over 2 times... Now I could just write 2 times 12, because there's nothing else that is a possibility to cancel, but I'm just going to write out the factors of that. So always look to simplify your multiplication. And then from here, what's the plan? Megan, do you have a question?
Yeah, so you did 2 times 1,
Uh-huh.
so you're just multiplying the top
Yep.
and not the bottom.
Yeah, so this 2 is technically 2/1. So I have 2 times 1 over 1 times 24.
Oh, okay.
Anyone else need a clarifying question there? All right, Tiago, what do you want to do here?
Figure out the greatest common or lowest common.
Yeah, an LCD. I don't really have room to do that, and I refuse to do it underneath to mess things up. So I'm going to have you guys figure out the LCD, and then go ahead and multiply each one by what it needs. Oceana, would you multiply the first one by?
The 9, I did 4/4.
4/4, and the second one?
3/3.
Good. And then after you add them, again, look to simplify, but 19's prime, and we know there's no factor of 19 within 36, so we're done. So it's nothing you haven't done, it's just trying to keep it all together. Because if you mess up, like here, it's just a ripple effect. I wonder if I can show you how I graded. Are there questions before I move on? Okay, let me just stop this.